morning, brothers and sisters. It is 8:12 a.m. Central Standard Time on December 1st, 2022. Hope our Creator is keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this across other platforms so we can let people know what's going on out in our solar system. If you happen to be new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell in case we have any critical future updates. Folks, we actually just had an M flare pop off right here. We had an M1.1. And as you can see, it was a very sharp, quick pop. This was not a slow duration. However, it does have a fat butt. So there is some plasma that's coming out. How much? Well, we shall see. We're first looking over here at spaceweatherlive.com, over here under solar flares. But let's go take a look at this bad boy, shall we? We come over here to swpc.noaa.gov, and first thing we're going to take a look at, let's come on down here, is right here's our ACE mag and sweep ham. So we can see here our B's and our BT, basically the magnetic strength of our poles. And anytime we get below -6 and above +6, being the BT, and the -6 being BZ, we are in an event. And as you can see, we've been down here in dancing at -10, bouncing back and forth, trying to recover. We had a little bit of a blackout here on this one. And then you can see here, this is as of today, we're starting to bounce around, and now we're starting to recover. We're actually all the way up here, but we have been into an event. Let's see where our flare actually had our, here we go. This is where the flare impacted on Earth, just east of Africa, right here in the middle of the ocean. For the most part, the grand peak of it was right here in the middle. So I think we're going to be okay. Just to kind of get in a little bit closer for you, is right here is the center of it. So pretty much in the middle of the ocean. However, this whole area was affected. We would have had radio blackouts, just a level 1 R1, and then a geomagnetic storm would have also been a G1 that we've been having. And if we come all the way up, whoop, to the top, it shows us G1, which is minor geomagnetic storm, and radio blackout, which have been, and when you tap on it, it actually tells you weak or minor degradation of high-frequency radio communications. On the sunlit side, occasional loss of radio contact. Low-frequency navigation signals degraded for brief intervals. So, not super major, but it's still something to be aware of. I'm going to come over here to iswa.gsfc.nasa.gov, and we're going to look at the GOES satellite, the SUVI. This is under 94 angstroms of light, and this region right here is where we're looking at. This is where the magic happens, so to speak. So we'll go ahead and click on that bad boy, and we can watch the flare right there. And as we can see, there was some plasma that came off with it. Not quite sure how much, to be honest. But that's where we got it at. And if you look over here to the left, it looks like it kind of caused another little reaction over here on this guy. So there was a little bit extra movement right over here. So maybe a little bit left the surface there, but not enough for me to be too concerned about. Now we're going to come over here, we're going to look at the 304 angstroms of light. This one's a little more interesting. I've got to shrink this down a little bit. There was a far side eruption that was massive. Watch this. Watch this right here. You see this? Watch the back side here. Boom! That was a major eruption off the back side of the sun, folks. Some of it did get recaptured, but a lot of it left the surface. And then right here, of course, being our active region, that gave us that little disruption. Whoop, right there. And actually looks like we had a canyon of fire open up all the way over here. Nice little rip in the surface. And then right here, we could see that secondary explosion. Little bit of plasma leaving the surface, but nothing major to be concerned about for this guy. This one here, I'm not seeing any major plasma like shoot out like we just saw on the backside. So I think there is, there's always going to be some. However, the majority of it's going to be going off in this direction, not coming at us. We might get a little bit because with the canyon of fire opening, some of it would have to come this way to even open that up. So we might get a small impact from that. We'll have to go check out the SDO. Okay, let's just go to different angstroms. So we're going to look at 171 angstroms, and we're going to take a peek once again in this region to kind of get an idea of the plasma liftoff. And as you can see, here's our eruption, but I'm not really seeing a lot of plasma. There is some, but it does go mostly up and away from us. So I think we're going to be pretty much in the clear. I don't think we're going to get much from it. Let's check it out again here on 195 angstroms of light. Let's take, yep, see that? It pretty much, that was a fast eruption. That was just a pow. That was pretty quick. So we might get a little bit of that, but like I said, most of it goes up and away. There's a little bit other movement over here. Now this right here, this coronal hole, is why we had the disruption in our BZ and our BT, because we got impacted with this coronal hole stream. And then we've got this one here, going to be right smack in the middle, going to be facing us. But it could close up by then, or it could get fatter, could get bigger and worse. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Coming over here to spaceweather.com, I'm looking at for meteors, near Earth objects, or NEO. Yes, NEO. And I'm not seeing anything of that might be of alarming, except for down here on December 15th, we've got an 85 meter in diameter meteor that's going to be 1.8 lunar distance, so it's going to be less than 2 times the distance between us and the moon. That's pretty significant. That's kind of close. And then we've got another one on December 22nd. That's 4.6 lunar distance, and it's 159. So these big ones. And then down here on the 27th, only 2 lunar distance, and it's 182 meters in diameter. So that's a big one. And it's only moving at 10 kilometers per second. Some of these bigger ones, that seems to be what they want to do, is around 10. This one here is only doing 5.9, so it's moving very slow, actually. And I know some of you are like, 5.9 kilometers a second. That's when you actually do it in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. It sounds like it's moving fast, but when you consider the expansion of space, it's moving slow. So we do have to keep our eyes out for those. Now, something else for a lot of you, I get out of work at night. I work from 2 to 10, and when I get out and it's clear and I can see, I'm always looking up. And last night was a beautiful spectacle to see. You could see the moon was about half shaped. The night before was a little bit of a crescent, and above it was Mars. And pretty soon, we're going to have Mars' closest approach to Earth. Okay? It's going to make its closest approach for all of 2022. If you look after sunset, you'll see the planet is shining brightly in the constellation of Taurus, and it is a very rusty red color. So it's pretty unmistakable. So what we're going to see is we're actually going to see it go by the moon. It's gonna look like it's gonna be a lunar occultation of Mars. So with the naked eye, this is what it would look like. It kind of looked like it's disappearing. But with binoculars, if you had binoculars and if you had a telescope, this is actually kind of a nice little rendition. So this is what it would look like. So it'll be pretty neat if you have them set up to watch for a long time. This would be something very neat to watch. And this is what it would look like if you had a telescope. You'd actually get to watch it disappear and then pop out the other side. So lots of interesting things going on. It's not very often that we get to see this. So think about the planetary alignment and the pull between Mars, our moon, and the Earth lined up with the sun. It's going to be pretty interesting. Some interesting energies out there, that's for sure. And here we are at theplanetstoday.com. Again, doing a verification, December 8th, 2022, and this is where it'll be. Earth, Moon, and Mars. Pretty close. It's our closest neighbor, and we're going to be in alignment with Sol, the name of our sun. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting energy time. We'll see what happens with these energies. Just to do a double check, I came over here to soho.nascom.nasa.gov looking at LASCO C2. Because I want to look and see if we have like any kind of a halo or anything like that. And of course, first image, what do we got? We got a little friend over here in the corner. See him right here? You see how things look a little warped around him? Like some kind of a warp bubble? That's pretty interesting. His little trail behind him is a little la 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 la. But anyways, we're going to take a look at that eruption. And I'll be honest, I'm not really seeing anything that's suggesting it's coming our way. As we can see, it'll come off the top right up here. Here's our eruption. It looks like it's all going this way. I'm not seeing any form of a halo whatsoever. I did check it out on seeds in the reverse ink filter, and once again I didn't see anything there, which is actually what made me want to come over here and take a look real quick. So I think we're fine with that, folks. Checking out our Russian Schumann over in Tomsk, Russia. We are having some form of activity going on the planet. So at this exact moment, so if you got a little ringing in your ears, maybe a little dizziness, maybe your back aches or something, sometimes this can be cause and effect of it. Looking over here at Euphoria, which is the European Space Agency's version of an Enlil model, looks like on December 4th, we're going to take about 22 to 23 centimeters cubed worth of plasma, right around, I'm going to say 7, right around 7, because if the next click over goes to 8. So right around 7 a.m., we're actually going to be getting impacts from the high-speed solar winds from that secondary coronal hole. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on that. And of course, if there's any eruption in there with coronal mass ejection coming our way, it will intensify it. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on that. And over here in India, take a look at these weird energy signatures here. What is that? Can anybody tell me? I'm kind of curious. Why does it do that? That's weird. I mean, not only do we got these weird energy signatures, but you got all of these here, like going to a point, like they're pointing over here in Belagavi. And for many of you that have been following my channel, and for some of you that are new, you're going to learn something. Whenever you see these weird energy signatures and they all go to a point, there's always a star fort in that area. That's right. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like here, if you follow this down here to this region, there's going to be a star fort. Looks like we got another one up here. Let's see what it develops out of it. Yeah. So there's probably a star fort right here too. We just have to go over to Google Earth and take a look. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. Lots of stuff going on. I have not seen Havana, Cuba, which is my normal go-to because that thing's always sounding off. But over here in Thailand, right here, I've already shown a star fort. There's a star fort right here in star forts in Bangkok. But everywhere that you see those little weird energy signatures like that, we'll find a star fort. So keep your eyes open, folks. Stuff's happening. Eyes open. No fear. And remember that love is the only way forward. So the wolf out.